what you think. Just dropped in to do the dusting, did you? Please, I can explain.
I bet.
Stations and the down escalators at Swiss Cottage and from Monument to Bank are not used.
Hey, Fred! I've got a surprise for you.
You have?
Yeah, it's in the office.
Oh, what is it?
Well, it's a visitor.
At this hour?
It's here even earlier.
Who the hell are you?
The name's Blair. Arthur Blair.
Caught him going through your file.
I wasn't stealing anything.
Oh, no. Just breaking and entering, throwing a few punches.
I tried to make your colleague understand.
Try again, Mr. Blair.
Have you called the police?
Not yet.
This radiator's hot. Won't you undo these?
Not yet.
So, what's your explanation, Mr. Blair?
I'm very sorry to have forced my way in here. As I've said, there was no question of theft or any damage. Something I wanted, very badly.
Such as?
You have a file on me. That file.
This is pending.
Exactly. You're about to send it on to a prospective employer.
Well, that's our job. And you wanted to tamper with it.
No. Just remove one small item because... Oh, God, this is difficult. Won't you take these silly handcuffs off?
I said not yet.
One small item. Now, it must seem rather big to you.
All right, I'm out of work. Have been for some time. Practically broke. Anyway, I was after this post. In with a chance. Then I heard they got an inquiry agency to check on my background.
And there's a blot on yours.
I'm afraid so, yes.
Well, tell him what the blood is.
I'm a chartered accountant. I was a company secretary, but I'm not grand. I'll take anything. Some years ago, I cooked the books, you might say, for someone. Oh, I paid the penalty. I was sacked. It's all in there. Please, just let me see what it says.
It's not possible, Mr. Blair. We've been paid to collect this information.
I said we couldn't admit anything.
Correct. And it breaks the rules. I feel sympathetic, Mr. Blair. But there's no way anything can be extracted from that file. I'll do you one favor, though.
Oh?
We won't call in the police. Okay?
Thank you very much. I suppose you think that's a great help.
Now go easy. Maybe we should just turn him in.
Look, get him out of here.
It's no fun, you know, being on the dole.
It's all right. It's getting bad where I come from.
At least you've got son of warmth. Makes a hell of a difference.
I hope you get lucky.
Lucky. Some hopes.
By the way, where'd you learn to punch like that?
Gymnasium of life, oh boy.
I'm going to Blackfriars. Can I drop you anywhere?
Oh, well, thanks. I'm staying near there.
$816, please. Thank you very much.
All I want is a national insurance card.
Yes, but I have your file here. You stopped paying contributions 12 years ago,
That's when I left to go back to Australia.
where you became an Australian citizen. And now you're an English baronet.
Well, that's the way it is. Look, I gather I can become British again automatically through birth.
That's another department. But what are we going to do about the gap?
the gap.
It could seriously affect many things. Your old age pension, for instance.
Hadn't thought of that.
Oh, what a mess. Suicide, I expect. Happens all the time. Pressures of the city.
What happened? A boat just fell from up there.
Well now, who have we here?
G'day, Sarge.
Why is it that I always get an immediate twinge of regret whenever I see you, Bartholomew? Could it be the title?
You know I don't flaunt it, McBride.
Or is it a twinge of regret that you haven't re-immigrated? What the hell are you doing here?
I was across the road at the DHSS, sorting out my pension.
Very funny. You actually saw him jumping.
Thankfully, no.
Get the manager. You better not be lying about this, if you know anything about it.
I'd help you if I could. But let you get on with your job.
Once again, just for the record, how come you're here, right at this moment?
I was in this vicinity. I was curious.
I hear you've taken a room over Fred Hurley's office.
Temporarily. There's no cooker. And I haven't had my breakfast yet.
There you go.
We can't use that car again, just in case.
I'll find something ordinary. I could have made him talk.
What does it matter? He had to die anyway. He knew about the money.
I doubt if anyone else knows besides Blair.
There's no room for doubt. If you'd made that observation in the presence of Prime Minister Peng, he'd have had you shot. We must make sure.
You didn't say an Australian breakfast. I'm surprised you couldn't eat anything at all after that man's death.
A little queasy at first.
Could have fooled me.
Blair was a tough old bloke, right? But even if he'd been depressed about his work, he wasn't the type to go launching himself out of a window.
Horrible.
When you're a copper, you get a sixth sense.
About what?
Well, who'd want to murder somebody like that?
You mean it mightn't have been suicide?
I don't know. But I just left him and then...
Look, it wasn't your fault or Fred's. Don't get obsessed by it.
I'm not. I'm just saying, something about it niggles me, that's all.
Poor chap.
What about his file? To check it through.
Yes. Not a thing there that would make anyone worried enough to take their life.
He didn't find the blemish he talked about, the books he said he could.
No. Ironic, isn't it? He broke in for nothing. And he killed himself for nothing.
If it was suicide.
I thought you said he jumped.
What was in the report?
Oh, fairly routine stuff. Polytechnic, London Business School, accountant to several firms in the north, town hall treasurer, school bursar in Somerset. Then latterly, a job out east with Bryant Silk.
Latterly?
Yeah, quite a few years ago. 5 or 6, I think. And nothing since then.
So that must have been the firm who fired him, Bryant Silk.
It doesn't say so in the report. I put it down to poor research. I shan't use the same chap again for that kind of work. Security guard who's a part-timer. Spelling's atrocious.
I wonder what Blair was doing, unemployed for all those years. How do I find the guy who compiled your report?
His name's Tony Eastman. He's a night security guard at the Avery Building in Gracechurch Street.
Hello? Eastman? Jesus.
What is it about you, Bartholomew? One suicide and one murder, and you just happen to stroll into both. If I don't start getting some cooperation, you're in trouble, Sir Jack. Deep trouble. Now, you came here to see Eastman. Why?
Occasionally he worked for Fred.
Doing?
Minor inquiries. Mostly for business firms, run-of-the-mill stuff. Checking on potential employees.
And what did you want with him tonight?
Had to see him about a report he'd made.
A report he'd made? On whom? When?
Like I said, it was just tame stuff. I'm sure it had nothing to do with him being killed.
I'm sure of nothing about you, Bartholomew.
Eastman must have been involved in something heavier.
Is this connected with the hotel death?
I don't know. Honest.
Is it hurting bad?
Yeah. Yeah, it's making me giddy. So you're gonna have to hold me up.
I'm glad you're here and not in that room.
So am I.
For tonight, at least.
It's a nice change to have a decent shower.
Oh, yes. You Aussies are crazy about showers.
Quickest way to our hearts is through your plumbing.
Jack, couldn't you drop this one or tell the police? I'm worried about you and Fred.
That's all right. Fred's going fishing till Monday. And you still haven't said where we're going this weekend.
Now, that's another day.
Blair is dead.
Fell from a window yesterday.
Lord, how appalling.
How was Blair when you interviewed him?
Oh, perfectly all right. Do sit down. Thanks. He seemed a likeable, sound sort of fellow. Perhaps a bit too qualified for the job we were offering, but these days...
Did he talk about his last job?
Of course. He was a company secretary out east.
Bryant Silk.
Yes, 10 years with them. I felt he was rather living in the past.
Mr. Hodge, what about Blair's recent past? Did he talk about that?
He told me he took a golden handshake from the silk firm and spent the lot on having a jolly good time. I rather warmed to him over that admission. What we'd all like to do. He was such a mild fellow.
Well, not so mild. He nearly floored me with a punch.
He did?
And when I caught him going through the files.
How very odd. I can hardly believe we're talking about the same man.
Which news agency?
Oh, AUP, Anzac United Press. I'm doing a I'm doing a follow-up of an Australian connection. His sister lives in Melbourne. She's quite famous. She's a ballet dancer.
We're not supposed to divulge information about guests.
Does it matter, but this one's dead.
Well, why can't you talk to the police?
What I'm looking for, you see, is some colour. Now, did Mr. Blair have many visitors? Did he seem depressed at all? Or... Yes, Arthur Blair.
His name wasn't Blair. It was Manda.
Are you sure? And the bloke who went out through the window?
James Manda. We have an impression of Mr. Manda's credit card.
I didn't know you had a little girl.
He's a great kid. Now ask me if I've been married. The answer's no. Ruby was born when I was a teenager, 17. I lived with a Dutch guy for a couple of years, Jan Willem. He was a drummer in a band. You know, having her was the best decision I ever made. Not the wisest, but the best.
Oh, we all do these rash things when we're young. Usually turns out all right.
What do I call you?
Jack, of course.
No, I meant the other bit. Mummy says you've got a title.
Yes, we don't bother about that.
The British love privilege. It must be a useful handle to have sometimes.
Keep it in mind.
Here we are. Tuck in, Luge.
So I don't eat cakes anymore.
Why not?
I meant to tell you I'm into health foods.
Must be difficult at school.
That's full of saturated fats. Think about it.
No, maybe Ruby's right. She does seem to have your best interests at heart.
Yeah. Well, we can't let you go hungry, can we? I'll go and find you something made with... Yeah.
There'll be some oatcakes and a jar of honey along the end.
You like Jack?
The main question is, do you?
A lot. But I'm not rushing things.
Good. If you're not going away, I'd like to bring Debbie home in a fortnight.
I'm not going away. And yes, you can.
She still doesn't believe it was you in Eurovision.
Be good, kitten.
I don't have much option. See you again, I hope, Jack.
Yeah.
Late for something?
You ever been in a car chase before?
What?
2 cars back. Having fun?
see.
You mean you know where you're going?
It's all coming back. This is home ground. I was born half a mile from here. Welcome to the Bartholomew family seat.
Why, Jack.
Hello, Pamela. Is my brother at home?
Philip? Yes, he's... Oh, dear. I mean, we've...
Oh, sorry to just drop in like this, Philip. This is Julie Columbus.
Yes, I believe I saw you at the office bar some weeks ago. How'd you do?
We just happened to be in the neighborhood. Well, it's good to see you looking after the house. How long had you and Pamela lived with Dad?
Oh, quite a few years.
Well, aren't you going to ask us in for a drink?
Jack, it is a trifle inconvenient. We do have guests.
Oh, I'd hate to spoil your party. I mean, it is bad form, suddenly
I'm sure you
turning
quite
up at the door.
understand.
I need a favour, Philip. Then we'll be off. Good day.
Justin, Melissa, this is your Uncle Jack, who was at Grandpa's funeral, and his friend.
This is Julie. She's a singer. Met her in Sydney. You know, when I was a kid, I used to slide down this banister.
Now, about this favour, why don't we go into the study?
Off you go, you two. You're visiting Britain too, Miss Columbus.
No, I live in Wapping.
How interesting.
You know I'm not at liberty to have discussions with you, Jack, what with the will and everything.
Oh, to hell with a will, Philip. I'm in a spot and I need your help.
Care for a drink, my good man?
Never while I'm driving, thank you, miss.
Right, Fred.
Morning.
How was the fishing? All the way to Wales, never caught a thing. Salmon weren't jumping. How about your weekend?
Everything was jumping.
Which one of you is Bartholomew?
Well, I'm Fred Hurley. He's Jack Bartholomew.
Well, I've just come from Mr. Hodge. Of Moore and Hodge.
What can I do for you?
Well, you could resurrect me to begin with. I believe you told Mr. Hodge that I was dead. Well, I'm not. I'm Blair. Arthur Blair. Bryant Silk was a clearinghouse of quite a large slice of the Far Eastern silk trade. It's one of the few firms that wasn't nationalised when Penn came into power. Of course, they needed the expertise of the existing staff. At least at the beginning, anyway.
Peng's is sort of a cross between the Ayatollah and Fidel Castro.
I've never heard of him.
Well, Peng's a bit of a stickler for morals and such like.
You're kidding. When you get 10 years for just breaking wind, and you two fellas back in the street.
All right, Jack. Now, you were company secretary at Bryant Silk.
Well, for a good many years, yes.
Then you left under a cloud, right?
Who says so?
The man who broke into this office, claiming to be you, said so. Why? And shortly afterwards, he was shoved from a very high building. Why? Did they think it was you?
A chap hired to check your background was shot dead.
Presumably by the same Oriental thug who tried to kill me. Now, how about some answers, Arthur?
You were sacked from Bryant Silk, weren't you?
How much did you steal?
I didn't steal anything.
Then how come you've been living it up all these years, like you told Hodge, when you got the boot and not the golden bloody handshake?
I fail to see what this has got to do with it.
Because if you don't tell us the truth, then we might not be able to stop you being killed. That's what it's got to do with it.
Well, take our word for it, Mr. Blair. You're in great danger.
I can't tell you anything.
Where can we contact you? In case of emergency. Not at the address in the file, I imagine.
You might find me here at lunchtime.
Your brother, Miss Bartholomew. I'm sorry he insisted.
That's all right, Pauline.
G'day, Bridge.
I wish you wouldn't call me that.
It's an old Australian custom, chopping up names.
Well, you can take the habit back where it came from. You've got a nerve breezing in and out of here.
You're trying out the top seat for sires, are you? Where do you reckon I might sit?
Not at this table, if we can help it.
Oh, come on, Biddy. Forget your legal wizards. Doesn't mean we can't talk, does it?
That was unspeakable, what you did to Philip yesterday.
Stuffy old Phil. Doing good.
But what exactly do you want?
I'm here in my capacity as an inquiry agent.
The what?
You know, Private Eye, CIB, City Investigation Bureau.
Does Philip know about this?
If you ever need our services, don't hesitate. Only half a mile away.
I don't like your attitude, Jack. If you think it's funny...
No, I don't. It's a job. I have to earn a crust.
Look, did this company ever own shares in an overseas firm called Bryant Silk?
Well, they're not part of our portfolio, but the name does ring a bell, yes.
Yes, it did for me too, from years back. Should be pretty easy to find out, shouldn't it, Bridget?
Here we are, Bryant Silk Traders. Bureau owned a substantial shareholding, 15% of the voting stock. Name changed to Intersilk on part nationalisation.
And by Prime Minister Peng.
Finally went bust. Burned our fingers on that one.
It's any staff records.
Who are you interested in?
Arthur Blair.
Company secretary.
Dismissed some years ago.
You seem to know it already.
Wait. There's another Blair.
Grace Margaret Blair.
Thanks, sis.
He seems to have a way of getting round you.
He always did.
This is one of my favourites.
Hibiscus.
Of course, you'd know you're from Australia.
They grow 10 feet tall all down my street in Sydney.
Frangipani, jacaranda, that wonderful blue. Coral trees. Reminder of better days. Hot, scented evenings.
Mosquitoes.
Yes, it's easy to get over romantic about the tropics, but oh, England does seem so drab by comparison.
If you're all right here, it's your own rainforest.
Not quite the same, though. Arthur is in London, you say?
Yes.
How long has he been back? A month? A year?
I don't know, Mrs. Blair.
But you think he's in danger?
Mrs. Blair. Someone's trying to kill him.
I can't say that I'm surprised.
Why?
Arthur did a very stupid thing. When we were out there, he found a way of putting a lot of money through the company into a Swiss account.
But he claims he didn't steal anything.
Strictly speaking, he didn't. You see, the money was being got out of the country for a certain member of the government.
That's taking a hell of a risk.
It was.
What if Prime Minister Peng found out?
It was Peng's money. It was his account in Switzerland. Amazing, isn't it? When you recall that it was Peng who made the illegal export of currency a capital offence.
Mrs. Blair, telephone, please.
Excuse me.
Yes.
If only they knew what we were talking about.
How long has Arthur been involved in all of this?
He was having an affair with a British Embassy secretary, a local girl. Pretty little thing, but she was costing him a fortune.
So he did this little favour for Peng.
In return for $100,000. Their dollars, that's quite a tidy sum of money. I told him that she'd leave him the moment they'd spent it all. Silly man. Suppose that's what happened, and now he's back on his beam end without a penny and without her.
How much did he smuggle out?
Arthur was a very clever man with figures. He expressed the money as inflated insurance value on goods in transit. It was ages before the company found out.
How much?
$15 million.
No wonder Peng's mob are out to kill.
Will you be seeing Arthur again?
I don't know.
But I'd like him to know that I can forget and... Tell him that if he needs me, I'd really like to see him. Very much.
If I see him, I'll tell him. In case you should want to contact me.
Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. Bartholomew.
Bye-bye.
Let me be the one to share all the happiness and the joy of being closer and closer. Let the
Thank you.
Thank you. Dear Columbus. There'll now be a 5-minute break.
Well, they liked you, and I liked you, and I hope you're on again.
5 minutes, just one more number.
I didn't realise you're appearing solo.
It's a last-minute gig. The singer pulled out. They might book me for a few more numbers.
They should do. Hey, listen, what can I get you to drink?
Right, I'd like a mineral water and lots of ice. Oh, look, while you're ordering, I'm just going to go over there and talk to a guy for a moment, okay?
Sure.
He directs commercials, and that, as they say, is the royal command. Can't keep business waiting. Bye.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, where is she? The girl who looks and sings like the soft touch of twilight, Julie Columbus.
Jack? Jack? Jack?
My apologies.
I'm very sorry it had to be this way, Mr. Bartholomew.
I bet.
However, as you can see, I'm not a squalid person. I'm in a hurry. It is Peng's execution squad who are out to kill you.
And where do you fit in?
My name is Biak. That mean anything to you?
No.
Well, if you knew more about the politics of our country...
I'm beginning to hate your country and everything about it.
I am opposed to Prime Minister Peng.
Good on you.
Several years ago, I was with Brian Silk. I was their lawyer.
So you know the Blairs?
Very well. Grace Blair was an especially close colleague. I have recently renewed my friendship with her.
Who told you about me?
Grace Blair. She is with me and my party. She wants to see Peng deposed. We can't do it without Arthur.
He's a very popular bloke, is Arthur.
The only person who can reveal the truth about Peng's corruption. We need Arthur Blair as a witness.
What are you going to do? Knock on the door of the London embassy?
We'll bring Peng to justice. If we can prove how much he stole, that will be the end of him and his regime.
I don't think Arthur's going to cherish the idea.
It is rapidly becoming his only option. Peng's people will surely find him and murder him. They've silenced hundreds of people already in my country.
Yeah. 2 so far here in London. One a bloke called Manda. The other one a security guard.
Yes. I feel bad about Mander. I hired him to break into your office and find out where Arthur Blair was.
That's all he was after. He was murdered for an address.
They will stop at nothing. Failure means their own death.
And I hope they fail.
Will you help us?
Peanut butter and tomato.
No, thanks. Where have you been staying?
Here and now.
You give evidence you'll be out of danger, live a normal sort of life again.
I'm trying to be normal, so that I can get an ordinary job.
Biak says he needs you.
They could still put me in jail out there. That's worse than death.
He says you're not to worry on that account. He'll fix it.
Well. As long as Biak wins.
Yes.
Can I trust you?
Why don't you ask Grace?
Is Grace with them again?
She feels that what they're doing is right.
Well, that's typical of Grace. Paddling on the edge of politics. She's always thought that Biak would go places.
At least she's made up her own mind.
Yes, but it's all emotional with Grace, you know? From here. She doesn't think it out with her head.
And what were you thinking about when you went off with that girl?
You know about that?
Yes. And about the money. Good on you, Arthur. Don't be gutless all your life. I'll tell you where to find Grace. Then you're on your own. And good luck.
Got your note? Sorry about last night, something came up. Hey.
Oh, I see.
I'm sorry, Jack. It made me leave the note.
We were expecting you earlier, Mr. Bartholomew.
Could you ask your friend here to stop following me around?
We need your help.
I bet you do.
Where is Arthur Blair?
How should I know?
Then you better start guessing, if you don't want anything to happen to her.
Jack, no.
Take his jacket. Search him. Mrs. Grace Blair.
And Dickie Glendenning and his wife, what's her name?
Muriel.
Muriel, yes. Yes, of course. They still keep in touch.
Well, Dickie was your friend, not mine. I never liked them. Arthur, I'm sure you didn't come here to talk to me about old acquaintances.
No. I suppose not. I just wanted to say how sorry I am.
Well, that's a start.
I suppose you'd find it nigh impossible to think about forgiveness after the hurt I've caused you. That's been a terrible blow, I understand that now.
It was worse at the beginning. Still being out east, knowing everyone was looking at me with sympathy. I didn't want their sympathy, I wanted you. But I came back to England, I came to terms with it. I can even understand why you left me.
Well, that was a big mistake, my love.
Oh, I'll bet it was. I'd also lay odds that you were flattered at first at being with that young girl.
At first, perhaps.
I don't think I've ever stopped worrying about you, Arthur, despite everything.
Thank you for that. I know you'll find this hard to believe, but recently I've thought of nothing else but making my peace with you. I can understand it if you don't want me back. I'd just like to hear you say that you don't hate me.
I could never hate you, Arthur.
Is there a chance for us, Grace?
There might be. But I must tell you, I've got on rather well on my own. I quite like it. This job as well. That doesn't mean I wouldn't give it a try. It would have to be a clean start.
Of course.
You've got to go back and give evidence. That's a condition.
What? Look, I'm not a coward, Grace.
No, Arthur.
If I go back out there, I could find myself stabbed in the back in a dark alley or go to prison for the rest of my life.
Not if Peng is discredited and shown up to be the crook and the hypocrite that he is.
It's not as simple as that, Grace. How do we know that Biak would kick Peng out?
With your testimony, Peng will be overthrown, Mr. Blair.
What is this? You've set this up.
No, Arthur. Biak is our friend. He only wants to talk to you.
And protect you.
Offer me up as a bloody sacrifice, you mean?
No, Arthur.
You shouldn't have done this, Grace.
Arthur, please.
Arthur, get down!
Where are you going?
Coffee.
Stay there.
That's it. I'm giving up this job. I've just flattened a woman.
A woman? Is that what you call her?
Very good of your government to hold that embassy woman and hash it all up for the moment.
Yes.
They want Peng brought down too. Our Prime Minister is unaware of what's in store for him.
Well, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for Grace.
I know. And thank you.
I want a word with you. You're a very lucky man, Bartholomew. I should have had you all in the nick. But instead, we've got one great bloody diplomatic cover-up. What is it about you, Bartholomew? What have you brought with you from Australia? A lucky boomerang? A piece of bone? Eh? Will you just listen to me? I'm warning you, Bartholomew!